Take that to the bank.
I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent. To the blood bank.
Talking like a caveman. Hey? What do you mean? I don't know. Talking like a caveman. Jesus Christ! What a good way to start this podcast. Let's go. This is the three Aweebos with Ethan, Declan, and David.
He's a little bit. Okay, I just started recording.
He's a little bit drunk.
Oh, thank God. That's podcast drugs.
By the way,
that's good.
I'm a bit drunk and loud.
That's what you need.
Okay. All right. Cool.
It's ideal.
Yeah. I witnessed. This is going straight into anecdote mode.
I assume you're recording.
I'm recording.
Okay.
So I was behind a fellow fan of the Fast and the Furious franchise yesterday.
How did you know? Oh, they had.
He had a bumper sticker that said, "Dude, I almost had you," and then it was there was 1973 to 2013.
Oh God!
And I'm like, oh man, I wonder. That guy was so shaken by the death of our boy that he had to go and get a bumper sticker. And then the moment the light went green, he proceeded to drive like the biggest douchebag I've ever seen ever.
Perfect.
He was doing the most dangerous, totally unprepared lane switches, doesn't use his fucking blinker once. He's tearing ass like in a school zone, like ripping it like 50 miles per hour.
Took some inspiration.
And then in a moment I realized, oh wow, nothing is sacred in this world. Everything that I like is also liked by terrible people.
He's just farther ahead than you are. He's living the actual life, whereas you're just stuck in dream world.
I couldn't have him if I tried.
Being a lame boy.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point where I don't even care if people are mean to me on the road anymore. I just think it's. I enjoy ignoring it because it makes me feel cool.
Makes you feel superior.
Yeah. So because it's just like. It's either an F-150 or a douchebag in sunglasses, even if it's overcast, our age, in like a 15-year-old sedan. And I was just like, whatever. I'm going 15 over. If you want to wedge your F-150 up to its side view mirrors in my tailpipe, that's, you know what, it'll probably be fine. I don't care anymore.
Do you ever see those people driving with sunglasses even when it's overcast in a 15-year-old sedan and feel like you're looking in a mirror?
Yeah, the other day, because the guy followed me about 6 inches behind my bumper for like 10 miles, and then when he branched off into another exit, I looked at him laughing my ass off after he brake checked me, and I was like, oh, he's not like a giant trucker man. He's like my age. He's got sunglasses on, like a dick wad.
Is that a Tatami Galaxy shirt? Wait a minute. Oh my God! And you realize you stumbled across your doppelganger,
Yep.
Declan with a K.
He speaks in a nasty Russian accent.
Yeah. Speaking of nasty.
Yeah.
Elfen lead. Oh my God. Oh. We got a very animated
right.
David to contrast the last one.
Let's get into this. Let's get into this show.
Okay, he's ready. Declan, do you have the recap on this guy?
I'm glad you're excited. Yes, I do.
Holy fuck.
Episode what?
50 something.
55 maybe, something like that.
I got a loaded gun sitting next to me today, so I'm kind of on edge. Who knows what this guy's gonna say?
Oh,
he's a loose cannon.
Yeah. Okay. Now I get it. Elfen lead. Very special episode. Yeah, the anime specifically. This is based on a manga by Lin Okamoto. Lynn, who was a boy named Lynn,
It's my favorite country folk song.
who also did Brynhilder, which Brynhilder is terrible, which I've mentioned before, but I still think we should watch it. Although we kind of just did watch it. I'll get to it. He also did a manga called Kimi wa Midara na Boku no Jo or something, which is about a boy and a girl who don't fuck a lot, and it's amazing
All right.
because it's pornography. But anyways,
Can we endorse pornography around here?
official endorsement, stamp of approval.
You couldn't not like it if you tried.
Well, I know some. Yeah.
As long as
but-
it's good at the end of the day, if there's a penis in the vagina, it's probably going to be pretty good. And no fecal matter. Anyway.
That's your one stipulation. All right. This is from 2004, and it was done by.
Already just a bad
I don't know what you're
taste.
talking about. It's Golden Age.
Oh, fuck.
Golden Age of everything. 2004.
This was anime's Jesus years where they were lost in, and nobody really knows what happened, but we kind of have some fragments. There are some, holdovers from 2004.
Yeah, some things preserved in amber and volcanic ash.
We unearth them every so often, and we're like, oh, look at that thing.
How could we have done this? Is this even the same species?
Are we talking about Elfen Lied, or is this...
David, you've been on a podcast. You know that foreplay is important.
Okay. I'll get in on it.
Okay.
The studio is Arms, who also did A Kite and Queen's Blade and Valkyrie Drive and Mao Yu.
Arms is an unfortunate name for a studio for the show.
Didn't make that connection. Yeah, that's the title of the show is based on a poem by Goethe. Oh man, what an insult!
We're in for some shit.
Oh god. So the reason we did this show is because it's very well known. Because everyone either likes it a lot because they enjoyed it as an edgy teenager who was new to anime, or they hate it because it's for edgy teenagers who are new to anime.
I disagree.
Okay, we'll get
boy.
to it.
Okay.
Let's cover it first and then lay down our
Sure.
pieces. on
But
this.
we needed to know because very, very polarizing. Needed to figure it out. Need to uncover the truth.
We're here to settle it.
We're here to, once and for all. That's how we do it.
I've spent the past 7 or 8 years of my anime life totally disregarding this as edgy shit because I watched the first episode when I was first starting out. And this is edgy shit.
All right. So you had an educated guess.
Yeah, I had seen maybe 15 minutes of the first episode, which was all of my knowledge of Elfen Lied.
Okay. Yeah, I probably saw a bunch of the decapitation scenes on YouTube at one point.
Masturbatory material. So
You can't get it. Yeah, that's the best you can get on YouTube.
that and breast examination videos.
Oh,
Maybe some
save those
home
for
births.
special occasions. Some what?
Some home births.
Water births.
Real nice.
Anyways.
Oh, right. You enjoy those unironically, David.
Yeah, okay.
I only ironically masturbate now, so I'm more just doing it to make fun of it, you know?
Yeah,
I don't
no,
really
totally.
enjoy it so much. It's wouldn't it be fucking stupid if I like this? There's no laughter involved, though. The joke's not funny anymore.
I jerk it to home births every night. So
That's appropriate, yeah. Anyways, speaking of afterbirth, let's get going. Let's get to work on the show.
You wanted to start from the beginning? Want me to just start
From the beginning. Take it from the
all
top.
the way from the beginning.
Yes.
All right. So, I started out watching the sub, and I've decided that if I really didn't like the show or didn't care, I would switch. And it was not very long before I realized that even the Japanese voice acting is even noticeably poor, even to an English speaker like me. So I quickly opted for the dub, which was right decision. Correct.
You went for the nuclear option.
I love the dub for this anime. It was great.
Boy, so do I, David. I don't know if we're on the same level here, but I agree with you.
It really, I'm sure, casts new light on characters in certain portrayals, particularly that of the voice actor for Coda, give certain dimensions that may or may not have been there in the sub. Anyways, yeah, I opted to do the dub the second I confirmed that there was in fact a dub to watch.
Nice. Yep. So the show starts off. Every episode starts out with that opening. People always say, even people who hate the show, say, like, I really like this opening. Come on, man.
It's very slow. Very, very slow. Just
And
like,
it's-
is it a minute 30? Because it feels like it's fucking 3 minutes long.
That's a minute 30, and it's
It's not a great opening, to be honest. It's just not.
So that's your one concession so far?
Yeah, so far. I mean, I have a lot of concessions, but definitely the opening. There's some faults.
It would be better if the show like deserved it, but it's so pretentious. So much, and the assets did not scale to Blu-ray quality very well.
The font for the title card is really got some
no,
aliasing going on.
they didn't have that.
No.
That's on a
That's a
reel
DVD
somewhere.
upscale for sure.
Yeah.
Or not even an upscale, but yeah. It's really up its own ass from the first frame.
Oh
which
boy.
is good.
Again, expected from what we knew of the show.
Yes.
And I assume you as well. Yeah. So yeah, first episode, very famous. She's girls telekinetic and escaping. I already knew that part. But then, and also she sings a song. I don't know. I don't even remember that. I guess that doesn't come back ever. Maybe. I guess she's probably singing the opening
music box song.
Okay, sure.
Music box song? That's throughout the entire anime. It's a very important element of the entire anime.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah, just like the grandfather clock. So, David, I was going to ask you this: the first scene, or the first episode, the scientists, the scientist guy, his assistant, she's clumsy, so she has all these sticky notes everywhere telling her what to do. And one of them says not to refrigerate kimchi, and I want to know why that is.
Well, you can't not refrigerate kimchi. I mean,
It says don't refrigerate kimchi.
Is it because
It's
it's so
essentially
smelly?
a pickle. It's pickled, and you need to refrigerate it to keep it.
You don't need to refrigerate pickles. They're pickled. They're not going to go bad.
Once you open
If
that
they're
shit.
once they're open, once they're canned, like once you open the can, then you have to refrigerate.
I would have guessed it's because kimchi smells fuck awful.
Kimchi is amazing.
But it smells bad.
It smells alcoholic.
If you open a fridge that kimchi is in, you're probably going to get a whiff of something you don't want.
If the lid is open, sure.
Okay, so we that remains unsolved. We have no solution to why you can't refrigerate that kimchi.
Guess this show can't give us all the answers.
No.
Oh well.
It only gives you the answers you need, and then leaves less for the rest of the imagination.
So yeah, they're in this facility. This dopey secretary lady's talking to her coworkers. Dudes are getting killed everywhere. I think the problem they have is that they're not using enough bullets. I think it would have helped if they had just fired maybe like a few thousand more rounds over the course of this 1 minute scene.
It's the successive scenes, which are just super redundant moments of like a bunch of dudes try to kill Lucy and they can't, and then they try to do it again, and then they don't like escalate at all. It's just a bunch of dudes with machine guns firing at her aimlessly or pointlessly.
It really questions how her powers work in terms of whether she can control the armor around the bullets or whether she,
Yeah, that would have been a really cool fucking question to answer if it didn't tell us immediately and it wasn't the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah, because in the later episodes, she obviously blocks all these bullets from a bunch of armored guards that shoot rifle bullets, but apparently she can't block in the beginning episodes.
It seems to depend on what the story needs her to do in that moment. So it's basically they're as weak or as powerful as the writer needs them to be, because it's.
I guess armor-piercing bullets can get them for some reason I don't think those go faster though. So I don't know what.
They got
But
more
for
inertia.
For some reason, during the end of the
Guess.
show, they don't bring armored piercing bullets
They
to
should've-
shoot her because she blocks them.
It's bureaucracy, man. So like you
You gotta get
it's-
that funding approved.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
It's probably stuck on somebody's desk right now.
Ethan, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
This first scene, how's this any different from Evangelion? Really?
In terms of
Presentation.
well, Evangelion looks good, and this looks unbelievably cheap throughout the entire thing.
The first episode?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, no, Evangelion looks so much better than this. And it has class and proper direction, and then this is just kind of aping Evangelion the entire time.
So you admit it.
That it's stealing from Evangelion? You're saying that Evangelion is influential? And that it's had a large impact on the industry as a whole? It's almost as if it's some sort of classic. I rest my case.
Elfen
Anyways.
Lied is as good as Evangelion.
Yep,
So, yeah,
direct
confirmed.
quote, put that on the box.
There's even a Lance Longinus in one of these shots.
Just like in Robots, starring Amanda Bynes.
Starring Robin Williams. Wait, what are you talking about?
Throwbacks.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. That is a throwback. What the hell?
Anyways.
Also, her name is Lucy.
Yes.
That's funny. And then the secretary dies.
Horribly.
And Lucy, everyone dies horribly. And then Lucy escapes.
Well, first the secretary gets slapped. Of course.
Yes, that's a recurring theme in the show is women
Slap.
getting slapped.
Yeah.
There's a lot of smacking happening.
Pretty much every single woman in the show has been slapped or abused in some.
David and I went through and discussed how I would say every single woman has been physically abused, and I would say at least 80% of them have been slapped on screen
Definitely.
throughout the course of this show.
I think 80% of anime characters have been slapped on screen.
I hope so.
They try to shoot Lucy, but it doesn't work. But she falls into the ocean. And then we get a bunch of establishing shots of a small town, small Japan town, which look straight out of Kimi no Na wa. I swear background art hasn't changed in 15 years, 10 years, whatever. Our boy's name is Kota, and his cousin her name is Yuka. They say they're cousins like once, and then she's trying to bang him the rest of the show.
Yeah, this was the thing that David and I. David did not remember that she was a cousin, and I kept reiterating that they were related.
I was very confused. I didn't understand until about probably the second to last episode. I was questioning. I was like,
Where there's another
this
mention.
her cousin that she's continuously hitting on this man and wants to fuck her essentially, like.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, yes, I told you that once, and then you're like, no, and then
I forgot it. I didn't even realize.
So yeah, then her entire character is that she wants to fuck Coda, real bad.
She's
And
she's
she's
kind of
also
a-
jealous.
yeah, she's kind of a goody two shoes. She's bossy, kind of naggy, momish,
And Coda is
mom GF.
Coda is God's perfect idiot.
love
He
Coda.
sets the record for anime cluelessness. I would say he's maybe the most clueless anime character I've ever seen.
He's up there.
He's top 5. Serious contention for top 3. But he's possibly sexless. I don't think there's a sexual bone in that guy's body. He must have been castrated at birth to possibly have gone this far through adolescence and not wanted to fuck, or realized the girls wanted to fuck him.
You want me to squeeze it?
He's an anime protagonist.
This is worse than most. You know when like anime protagonists at least kind of sometimes know what's going on? They're like,
No.
He makes out with a girl and then doesn't understand what she wants.
Wait, when does that happen?
They make out, and we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
They make out at the very end. I think he knows what's going on.
No. He makes out with homegirl, the cousin at the temple, in the rain, and then they never address it ever again.
That.
Yeah, they never address it again. I don't think he understand what happened. I think he was taken advantage of.
Yeah, no, I guess he's basically just like a lobotomite.
Basically, and he seems to have a really hard time remembering anything. Like there are let's get to the point. Okay, Lucy ends up living with them.
She shows up on a beach and is all naked and is a dumbass now.
Yes.
And immediately, the show tells us these two people are connected in some way. They know each other from the past.
Somehow they meet.
So it ruins that. It's a dumb coincidence, and it ruins the
dumb coincidences. The show
reveal of information later, because it just tells you, hey, this girl is somehow connected to his dead sister. It's like, okay, well, there's really only like two ways that could play out. So
he is his sister, or she is his sister, or she killed his sister. Those are the two.
Yeah, those are the two.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single plot twist here in this entire show that David and I did not call, or not that there are plot twists in this. It's pretty linear for the most part.
Pretty much everything we could predict before it happened. It was
not that it's like something to be proud of, because it just is. Like,
right.
You don't even have to think. It really just presents you with what is going to happen. But anyways, so Coda and Lucy are living together, and like Lucy has at multiple times breaks out of her dumb stupor to become this like horrible murderous monster woman.
Yeah, it's whenever she hits her head.
And he doesn't remember that, like, and he doesn't sort of piece together that there's the split personality going on. Like, is this part of his psychosis and his?
Well, if I had kidnapped a retarded girl and she occasionally just went crazy, I would probably not think that was super weird. To be fair.
You're saying that from experience?
No, this is hypothetical.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But I think it was one of the more interesting parts of the show. It shows the different mental illnesses that are.
So far we've got mental retardation and severe memory issues.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's
okay. Maybe he just thinks she's a genius compared to him, so he's just like, hey, whatever she's doing,
she's got it figured out. This Lucy lady.
What's up?
Anyway, let's keep going.
I want to bring up this one shot of Kota in this first episode because it's so amazing. It's like, imagine you have a picture of him on a piece of paper and you just tilted it way towards the camera and he looks ridiculous. And they do that as like a serious effect as he remembers his dead sister.
Doesn't it happen a couple times?
I think they only do it once, but it's amazing.
There's also some stuff going on inside of this is back at like the government facility with our main government guy whose name eludes me, and then big bad government guy.
Yes.
Where government dude walks really slowly across an Evangelion room. Like, you know, like the Gendo's giant chambers in Evangelion.
Yeah.
And there's a shot where a good government guy walks for a solid 8 to 10 seconds towards the camera and doesn't really move that much. And it's really, really gratuitous and hilarious.
Yep. So, Kota, instead of taking this retarded girl or girl who's like tripping really, really hard on drugs that he found on the beach, instead of taking her to the hospital or to the police, he takes her home, and he has this huge house all to himself, and he still complains about it.
Oh my god!
Because he sucks. Then Lucy pees herself, and so then we have our experiment facility guys, those characters. So we got the chief, I call him the chief, who's sort of our main guy in there, who sort of seems to be leading the experiment. But then there's a head honcho who he reports to. And then this first episode, they're training this super rad shooter guy who's getting all those frags, and his name is Bando. And can I just say, And I hope you agree that Bando is the best character in the show, by far.
He was the evil guy
I would agree.
that had the amputated arm, the robotic
Yes.
arm.
He also
Yes.
has the best line in the entire show, far and away. Which
Oh,
I
yes,
don't know
so many.
if we want to say it right now, but I'm just going to say it, which
Go
is we haven't even met the character that he's talking to, so maybe I'll save it. But it's a fucking
okay.
amazing line.
I have a clip here of Bando.
Hit me.
Here.
Never sneak up behind me, stupid bitch. He's perfect.
I mean, he is perfect.
so
This is
perfect.
immediately after he smacks a girl.
Yes,
by the way.
yeah. Just because she was behind him.
Yes, which you're not supposed to do. Never do that.
Don't do that. Don't be behind him. He's basically like sometimes he's doing a really bad Macho Man impression, and sometimes he's not. It's just amazing. It's so good.
There's at one point one of his superiors says like he's got a few personality quirks, which is like just total sociopathy for the most part, which
Yep.
isn't so much as a personality quirk as it is an entire character.
It's more personality than most of these characters have, and it's
true.
very entertaining. He wants to kill everybody a lot.
In this show, never.
And then just at the end of this episode, Coda gives away way more exposition in a way that no human would ever talk. He literally says, "Then she died of that disease." Like, what? You're talking to someone who obviously knows that your sister died and what she died of. It's just like, remember when my sister died of that disease?
It's almost like he's talking to the audience.
Oh, and then Lucy breaks this guy's special seashell and runs away. And then we get the ending theme, which sounds like, because it's 2004, it sounds like an Avril Lavigne B-side. And I like it.
Well, there's not. She has music that would be more appropriate for a Japanese audience in the form of Hello Kitty. That is so kawaii.
Oh, right, that is so kawaii.
Anyways,
All right, moving along. Bondo. Episode 2, he just jumps out of a helicopter because he feels like it. He's not even supposed to do it. Everyone else in the helicopter is like, what are you doing? And he just jumps out. Kota lies to the cops.
oh, that's a great scene.
Now he's literally guilty of kidnapping a retarded girl. That is what's
This is-
happening here. There's no ambiguity.
This is the point where Coda really endeared himself to me, where he said that we can't trust the police, which is like, I fucking get you, man. Fuck cops. It's fucking. I'm about that.
But he's Japanese.
What's that? Well, yeah. This show doesn't understand what Japanese crime is. They don't understand what bullying is. Why do you expect them to understand the relationship with police?
Yeah.
This show has brutal murder and like sociopathic kids killing small innocent animals in Japan, like which is the farthest thing from the truth. It doesn't think very kindly. It doesn't take kindly to the Japanese people.
So Bando's trying to kill Lucy, and he runs into her, but she's still retarded. So, but he knows that he's been told like she can kill anything within 2 meters. And he's like, got it. And then he leans down right next to her, within probably a foot or so. The first encounter he has with her. And by the way, I think I have one more Bando clip here.
Okay, hit me.
My favorite. Bando's my favorite. Right here.
Let's see. They gave us the green light to kill any witnesses. Right, Sato? No.
Every interaction with him turns into gold. Every other character is like, what? What?
Nobody gets
what
him,
do you-"
man.
No one understands my man Bando. So we should mention the powers. In the first scene, the first episode, that she's just telekinetic, and it's cool because, like David mentioned, you don't know how it works, but she just looks like magic, and she kills people with her eyes. And then it turns out they just have a bunch of wiggly ghost arms coming out of their back, Dr. Octopus style, that are really strong and go really fast that you can't see.
It's definitely a different take. It's unique.
Why would you do this? Literally, what is the point of explaining this at all and having it suck so bad?
So you can have scenes where characters are like, you've got longer ghost arms than I do. And this girl's got a lot of ghost arms.
Just call it reach. You have longer reach. Make them telekinetic. That's better.
Maybe
that's a
calling
cooler
it
thing to be.
The reach. You put a the in front of it, it becomes scientific.
I don't give a shit. And the arms are sometimes this horrible CG abominations. It's like, it's fucking crazy to me. Why couldn't they just be telekinetic? Why?
That's a good point.
That sucks.
Oh, no. I think David's having an existential crisis next to me right now. What's?
You're telling me David didn't put a lot of critical thought into this murder porn?
No, I think that we're focusing on the structure of the show right now, and we're not focusing on the actual
on the heart.
We'll get there.
Okay.
We're doing a recap basically, getting people up to speed so that we can then discuss the merits of the show.
Okay.
So this is just laying the groundwork.
I have things to say about the show, but I don't have things to say about the show that are on the first or second episode. Really random details.
That's fine. Yeah, we're
I
getting
feel
there.
you.
We're coming along.
But do you remember the really shitty first-person point of view shot, the one that they did the entire show?
Nope.
That was good. What was the line you liked? Was it "the sand gets bloody and you get dead"?
No, that's a good line though.
Because that's a good. That's the one where he sounds the most macho man. He's just like, "You get dead." Oh yeah, brother.
It's a line when he's talking to homeless girl later.
What does he say?
The line is, "Call this number. If anybody gives you any trouble, I'll fucking kill him for you," which is so fucking funny. It had me basically in conniptions, it's a genuinely good line. Like that would be fucking awesome in like a
right.
80s action film. You know what I mean?
I did like that scene because of the way it ends, which is she calls in his favor on him.
But it happened too quickly.
I like that right then. I think that was a good.
I thought that was okay. Yeah.
If anybody gives you any trouble, I'll fucking kill him for you. I will be stealing that someday. Probably not from my real life, but who knows?
It's when you train. That's when you're training someone on the job. It's like, hey, customer gives you any static, I'll fucking kill him.
I'll use that. Yeah, that'll definitely happen.
I'm not joking. I'll fucking kill him. I've killed before.
You don't even have to say a word. Just give me the look. You know the look.
Blink once, I'll kill the fucking customer. Blink twice,
I'll kill everybody in the room.
I'll suck your dick.
Blink 3 times, I'll kiss you.
Passionately. Somebody kills a man. I don't know who. Right, Lucy. Yeah, no, she goes back into crazy mode, kills one of the soldiers that was with Bando, changes back before finishing him off though, so he's severely injured. And Kota continues to lie to cops a whole lot. And then at the end of this episode, they set up another ultimate weapon to take out Lucy. This one is just another Lucy. This is the point where I have to bring up that I've seen Brynhildr before. I watched all of Brynhildr, and Brynhildr was absolutely terrible. And it's exactly the same. These shows might as well be the same show. Everything is almost exactly the same.
Which came first?
This came first.
They're written by the same person.
Yeah.
Okay. So
But the girls with powers in an experimental facility, same. Boy with a childhood friend who disappears mysteriously, same. Setting up like a new, thing it's even stronger than the last thing that's gonna take him out at the end of the episode. Same. Gore everywhere.
It's almost like if there was a movie that was like a samurai film. There was like Star Wars, where like it sets up like this big bad dude, and the twist is that it's the dad.
The Last Samurai.
It's almost like it's almost like Tom Cruise is Darth Vader.
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
This is a movie. Never mind. It's not important. Kurosawa.
Also, I want to bring up the narrator real quick, who's only for the next episode previews. because sometimes some of his deliveries are quite good.
All right, here we go.
On the next Elfen Lead, Episode 3. Deep Feelings.
There's deep feelings every episode.
Yeah, there are. You're right.
On the
but
next episode of Elfen Lead, Episode 4, Deeper Yet Feelings.
one of them, another, like there were 2 episode titles with the word feelings in them, but just the pause before the word feelings, a long pause, and then how he holds it, feelings, is
Yeah, that's good
spot on.
stuff. On the next episode of Elfen Lead, Resident Evil 5.
Oh, what a twist. 5. Episode 3 starts out. I'm going to try to go faster, but there's a lot to go through. I know we're all only on episode 3, but there's so much gold. We get a misunderstanding because he's pulling her panties down.
What?
Change her. Crazy.
I'm just gonna leave the room now. This is this scene struck. I was feeling the exact same thing as Coda during this scene, which is again yet another scene that endeared me to Coda, where I felt as uncomfortable watching the scene as Coda did experiencing the scene, living it, feeling it.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did, in that I felt uncomfortable watching something so bad on the screen. You know, where
Okay,
you
that's what I-
feel pain for somebody. Like, when you watch Jack and Jill and Al Pacino is doing the dance
Yeah.
with the Dunkin' Donuts commercial. It's kind of that exact same feeling. You know what I mean?
It's like people had to make this, and I am now watching it, and some of the people who made it might have even thought it was okay. Like, there's no dignity
yes.
in any. There's anyone involved in this.
This is also the scene where I realized there was no going back, and that I truly could not possibly understand what a Western audience could see in this, because Western audiences are so attuned to, they have a fan service meter that flies off the handle at the slightest shot of panties, and this show is riddled with naked women being mutilated. And I don't know how Western audiences were tricked into liking this. Because, like, I have no shame. But there are a bunch of people who see these things and immediately think exploitation. Or, like, but I don't know how they, like, there wasn't a cognitive dissonance there. Like, how do you justify liking this show if you aren't a huge anime fan?
People, especially young teenagers, confuse feeling anything with quality, and when you have named characters getting decapitated mid-sentence, that makes people feel like you are being very serious and therefore should be taken very seriously. And I think that I'm pretty sure that's the entire reason why people enjoy this show, because not a lot of other shows do that. Because they're good.
You're saying
so
that this show is enjoyed because it's gratuitous, and its deepest flaws are also the things that make it the most appealing.
I think its deepest flaws are unignored or are ignored by the people who like it, but are still pretty obvious to everyone. Like how it looks like shit a lot of the time.
And how it all just seems way too convenient. And we'll get to it. Let's keep going. We got a lot of show to cover.
Yeah. So the other Lucy's...
David, you shook your head. No? Okay, we'll get to it.
The other Lucy's name is Nana. And it turns out these things, they're not human. They're a different species, and they can reproduce parasitically. This whole project is just freaking genius. So then Coda gets sick because he was in the rain, obviously.
Very sick.
Which is also a recurring theme in this show, is Coda being concerned about sickness or people getting sick. I would say there's a mention of sickness in basically every single episode.
He couldn't leave his bed. He wanted water and knew probably came back to him probably 30 times with different objects, which probably
Never
took
gave
about
up.
a couple hours.
It was probably a period of an hour or two where you would bring back an object and Coda would be like, no, it's not
That's not
water.
water.
It's not water. Continuously.
This show is smacking women and Japanese constitution to show, which is like everybody gets sick at some point during this.
And cannot move.
Yeah, Coda's he's gonna be killed by like the rhino virus. He's about to be taken down.
So I think does Yuka put his hand on her boob?
Yes.
That's great. That's a +1 for Elfen Lied. The guided breast
no.
grab. The guided
Wait.
breast grab is the #1 fetish. Okay?
Wait, I thought Lucy did that. Or was that a previous?
Lucy's
Oh, no,
a
it's
retard.
Lucy.
She wouldn't know that. What?
It's Lucy, isn't it Lucy? Where she's like, or no, he accidentally grabs her tit and then she's like, touch it again.
I don't know, man.
I'm pretty sure Lucy does that. And she's like, new. Doing her new thing.
Oh yeah. I guess.
Haha.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, because she's like just experiencing carnal pleasure for the first time.
Well, I didn't bring that back.
No.
Whatever. Still, #1 finish. So at this point, not only is she a kidnapped retarded girl, she's a sexually abused kidnapped retarded girl.
Again, Western audiences, where are you at? How are you gonna how do you respond to these claims?
How do you sleep at night? The other girl with no pants shows up. Her name's Mayu. She's there, and Lucy hits herself in the head, transforms into a nasty lady. The Mayu has a dog, and I was like, oh man, I remember this. I remember hearing about this. Dog fucking dies. But then it doesn't die in this episode, so I was very confused. But I was like, I know some dog dies. I know something's got to happen.
This was a call I also made, which means I must have absorbed it through osmosis at some point. Because I just had a feeling about that dog the entire time. I'm like, that doesn't seem right. There's no way that dog makes it.
It was kind of foreshadowing. It was just foreshadowing a different dog in the past.
Which you mean it's cheated.
Yeah. In episode 4, Nana lays the smackdown. Yuka is still upset about whatever. I think I'm drunk while watching this episode, according to my notes. Mayu is poor and homeless, and you can tell because she buys the bread crusts, or she gets the bread crust from a store somewhere. And then she gets comically tossed into the woods after intervening in the fight between Lucy and Nana.
She gets thrown through like the top of a tree.
Yeah, she just gets tossed. She's like, what? And then Chief and crew show up. Nana gets delimbed all the way around.
This is an example of gratuity, where
yes,
it's just in poor taste, just really in poor taste, and beyond the realm of credulity, and again, hard to watch, not because it's grotesque, but because it's hard to see somebody actually put that on the screen and try to have it be taken seriously. Getting ripped limb by limb is not. It's not shocking. It's just
it happens over and over again in this show.
Yeah, limbs have a really bad track record in this one, and heads as well.
Oh yeah.
It's this scene is hard to watch for reasons other than intended.
Yeah, I felt mostly nothing because I knew that it's this kind of show it is. I'm just like, well, she's not gonna die. You just introduced her, and she'll just be fine. But Mayu, dog girl, thinks the whole thing was a dream, of course. and our harem expands even wider because she gets invited in.
Yes, and then the show truly reveals its actual form.
Right, it's persona. You're just gonna keep taking in girls,
Lost women who need help.
Yeah. Lucy gets retarded and naked again, and then we're introduced to a scientist developing a vaccine for the diclonius, is what they're called. And then Nana supposedly gets euthanized, gets killed by her papa, by a chief, which would be a sad scene without the terrible Gregorian chant and pretty much everything else. If there's one lesson you should take away from this show is that you cannot do Gregorian chant without coming off looking like a total fuckboy. Don't even try it. Not for amateurs. Please do not
Halo
attempt.
ended that. You can't do it anymore. It's done. It's finished.
Don't do it, nigga.
Don't
do it.
The last word is written. Book closed.
CG Ghost Arm's not a good idea, but really, the Gregorian chant, stop.
Serious. Very serious business.
No.
This show has 2 songs. It's got that opening song reorchestrated, and it's also got this weird, like, whistly synth line song.
Both great songs.
It's a fine melody, but it's there. Every implement, there's the Gregorian chant version, there's like the opera version, and then there's like the piano version during the emotional scene. Do do do. It's
It gets to be a bit much.
a little bit.
Anyways.
Episode 5. It's a Mayu episode. It turns out she was actually the literally sexually abused retard escapee. But I guess speaking of gratuity, I guess her stepdad just kind of stared at her butthole.
Yeah. Again, Western audience is where you at.
They think that's a really, really, it's really, really respectful exploration of
having this girl fucking
Bend over.
get on all fours.
Do it.
Is that all that happens though? That he stares at her?
That's what they show.
I think it's just a explanation for what actually happens to her.
But
You think that's a metaphor?
Exactly. They're not going to
staring at
show
her
the
butthole.
actual rape of her father.
But then why would they show him staring at her butthole? That's just a one level below. Like, why wouldn't they like show a train entering a tunnel or something? Like, why wouldn't?
Let's write a better way of doing this. Okay. So you
Don't do it.
It's in the next room. There's paper walls, right? Because we're in a Japanese house. Door closes, and then you've got silhouettes of the papa and the daughter, and he's like, "Take it off," and then you cut away.
And then you cut to her mom hanging her head, or something, just like anything.
Yeah. Or
cut to anything else.
You cut to her immediately getting slapped by the mom for trying to explain it, and you don't explain the fact that she's going to her mom to explain that she's been raped by her dad.
Just
you know what I mean?
cut to a hornet stinging a caterpillar. Like, even the most bitch boy of symbolism would be more artistically valid than just having a shot of a dude staring at a butthole.
I assume she was raped. There's no telling. You really can't tell.
Well, it's obviously an implication of rape, but there's a better way of implying rape. It's like
than just showing a dude like kind of raping, but not really.
Have them walk into a room together, and that's it. You can.
That's really it. That's all you need.
That's tasteful. This show has no taste. It's just instead it will show a dude staring at a girl's butthole like, I love to rape. Anyways.
And all right, so the doggo escapes, but the gang they get Mayu back, and everyone's happy. We family now, family. But then I guess they officially actually adopt her. What the hell?
This is that one scene where they adopted her. That was very strange. As well as the one scene where they went to a college course.
Which never happens again, by the way.
Went to the what? So I didn't hear you.
They went to a college class.
There was one scene.
Oh yeah, also they're in school.
They're the worst students ever, by the way. They don't fucking go to shit. They're freshmen. They're fucked. They missed like the first 3 weeks of class, like the most important ones. They've nothing to go with.
One class. That's all we saw.
What the fuck? But they adopt her.
Yes, they go to the government and get papers, and then
they have
her
one
rape mom.
Yeah, they have one throwaway line like, yeah, it was weird how easy your mom let her go.
Oh.
Whatever. We got this girl now.
She's
we have
ours.
a daughter.
They are literally responsible for this child now. These 18-year-olds.
Yep.
No way.
Whatever. And who's their professor? It's Vaccine Guy.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Coincidence.
Instantly recognizes Lucy because they bring her to class for some reason.
Why they bring her to class?
Because they can't leave her alone, but they gotta go to class this one time, I guess. But he recognizes her. He takes her from them quite reasonably, but they still consider him a real jerk. But he has a convincing story about how, oh, it's my niece. She ran away, or something.
Which they don't think it over. They just hand her over and we out. Which is again another instance where I was in Dear Dakota, which is like okay.
First of all, it's reasonable to just hand her off because it's an adult and he has a seemingly good reason to take her, and it's a retard off your hands, and that's great. So problem solved. And then 3 hours later, they're like, wait a second. What if he wasn't telling the truth? Wait a second. I love Lucy now.
Yes,
So that's
Coda.
just great move on their part.
I would say within 2 minutes of being inside the professor's classroom, they've handed off this girl.
He cancels class. He's like, everyone go home. I got stuff to do.
I got a lab subject to rape. Anyways, let's keep going.
By the way, these diclonii, enlarged pineal glands. What did I tell you? What did I tell you about that pineal?
You gotta eat
It's got to
some.
decalcify.
Yeah, you gotta eat lots of prunes.
Got to go paleo. Distilled water.
Don't touch strawberries.
Do not touch strawberry. Well, strawberries.
No seeded fruits.
No.
Don't eat them. That's the
All
Tom
right.
Brady diet.
Oh well, Tom Brady does it.
We'll see how fucking turned out for him. So
The gang decides that Vaccine Man might have been lying because he is quote weird, even though he wasn't really acting weird. And then there's a scene where Vaccine Man whips off his wig in his underground lab, and he has horns too, and then he dies. Oh man. I guess did she kill him?
yeah, because
Okay.
he's gonna rape her.
Right, because he wants to reproduce and replace humans with the dicloniuses, so it'll be exactly the same as humans, except everyone will have fancy ghost arms.
Yes, everybody
Why?
will be murderous and have fancy ghost arms. A perfect world.
Yeah, great idea, dude.
Utter utopia.
Episode 6. Oh man, I totally forgot about this. Bando gets new eyes and arms in exchange for his balls.
Yes, I think it's like they're going to do some other surgeries on him or something. Like they need to. I was figuring they had to like remove his lower half, and that was a byproduct. But they only make reference to the balls.
He references his balls, which you'd think would be like, because balls is sort of a synecdoche, where it's like my balls, where that could be like his dignity or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like your wife has your balls, but I think the doctor makes reference to his balls. Something like there's another line that makes you think like, oh, he's actually selling his balls for these prosthetics.
Yep. What use do they have? I guess like black market maybe.
There was one time, I forget if you were there, but I don't know. I feel like we were looking at like how much money could we make selling stuff.
I was there.
To a hospital. Okay, yeah, we were like, I'll take a testicle for, was it $3,000 or $30,000?
There was $30,000. It was
That's
$30,000.
That's a decent. I have 2 of those. I was seriously considering
Hefty
it.
chunk. That's a
It's
car. That's a Tesla. You get a Tesla
Yeah,
for one
dude.
nut.
Oh, it's like a year's wage for one nut.
Yeah, you just gotta sell a nut a year for the rest of your life, and
You
you
just
retire.
gotta freeze your stuff.
Yeah, I don't need those butts. Those butts. I don't need those nuts.
They kind of look like a butt.
Yeah. I call my front butt.
That's a fupa. That's a different. What's happening? Another great line from Bando. He's talking about his new hands, and he says, "How much can this baby handle?"
I think he only got the one new arm. The other arm's real. Which I thought he had all of his limbs ripped off.
No, I think he only got 2 ripped off.
But he's got one real arm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, and he says something about sack clearance. I don't know what's going on. Kota goes to Vaccine Man's office and he meets his assistant there instead, who's a lady. And the assistant seems not to worry that the guy she works for lied to get access to a retarded teenage girl. She just sort of thinks that's normal. Lucy finds out that she can control people or something. I don't know. Kota and the assistant find the dead professor. And Kota tries to tell Yuka about this, but he has some weird memory thing. I think this might be like sort of an implied plot point. Like he actually can't remember anything traumatic that happens to him because he cannot piece anything together. This dude is with Lucy for a few hours and then he is decapitated.
Theme.
Then the chief talks with the head honcho, who is Vaccine Man's dad.
Whoa.
And the chief, we learn, has had a hard life because he had to kill his wife and daughter.
He killed his daughter and his wife killed herself.
Supposedly.
Yes,
but then,
as alleged. But nobody's backstory is actually what they say it is.
Not exactly. His is actually pretty close. But then Bando talks to Mayu and then gives her his number as we do that scene. Because she called the cops to help him that one night, I guess, when he was on the beach. Kota hugs Yuka while they search for Lucy. And at this point, I remember, like, wait, weren't they supposed to be cousins? But then Yuka gets mad wet and they make out. So I was like, all right, whatever. But then Lucy shows up. They found her. Lucy is jealous of Yuka because she's in lucid Lucy mode, not retard mode.
Yes.
But then she goes back, I think. And then it turns out, hey, Nana's still alive. And she shows up on the beach and is immediately about to get fucked by Bondo. Not literally, just get fucked up by Bondo.
Yes,
Anyone who shows up on the beach is going to meet Bondo.
The second she rolls up on the beach, she immediately sees Bondo, who at one point is literally just cleaning garbage up on the beach. So he's a glorified...
Or you cut out there, he's immediately what?
He's immediately, finds her because in one scene, I think he lives on the beach because in one scene he's just cleaning up garbage on the beach. Like he's just got like a bag.
This is where her father dumped her off, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he dumped her off
and he tells his daughter to go find a place far away and go live there forever and stay happy and be a good person. But he dumps her off on the beach where all of this action is happening, and he knows that. Why would he dump her off right in this small town that everything is happening?
The facility must be... Everyone who goes in the water from that facility ends up on that beach. So it just must be an inevitability somehow.
It's like Alcatraz, where like
yeah,
you just
basically.
end up with this, you just get taken by the... You're
current
escape,
must just take you
taken
there.
by the current, you get taken out of the sea.
Episode 7 now. Bando is facing Nana and is not at all afraid of the same... what is apparently to him the same type of girl that ripped all his limbs off, but this time he's got special bullets, I guess, so it's fine. And then he kicks her, and then he finally figures out, and I think he has an actual line. He goes, "Whoops, 2 meters," and he jumps back.
Yes, he does jump back. Very
Finally figured it out. But he convinces her to kill everyone somehow. He just turns her evil. Or something. I don't know.
Is this where they explain that her limbs work? They're not like actual prosthetics. They're just she controls the articulation with her forearms.
Yeah, she has a bunch of doll limbs that she moves around with her ghost limbs,
which are quite silly.
This is the point where I realize, like, oh, okay, this show does just suck. This is just regular bad. This isn't like special bad. This is just a weird bad show that a lot of people attached onto for some reason. This is just a weird phenomenon.
I realized this much earlier. I got this at like one of the first scenes in the show where it's just like, oh wow, if this is as good, because the first episode of something is generally about as exciting as it's gonna get.
Oh, absolutely.
And as good as it's gonna look, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is just. I basically spent the rest of the show trying to figure out why the audience for this show exists. And the more gratuity that occurred, the less I understood.
I understood more. I know exactly why people gravitate towards that.
It just seems there's a disconnect. Well, let's keep going. Unless David, you're shaking your head again.
You got a problem, big guy?
I'll let you know how I feel about your question after you guys finish your recap of the entire show.
Okay.
He's building up. I'm excited. Kota forgets about the whole decapitation thing. Nana can now launch her arms. So she's launching her prosthetic limbs at Bando. And then they're on the same team now, though, for no reason.
For a bit.
And then Nana doesn't know how to use money. And then they find out, the gang finds out that Mayu is missing, I guess. And I swear to God, every other scene in this show is them finding out someone is missing. Everyone is constantly going missing.
This
Fucking all the
character's
time.
missing, but I'm sick. And
Where is
also, oh no,
this
she had her
girl?
rims lipped off.
Fuck
Is this dog gonna die?
And then Nana meets up with Mayu, and her legs fall off, and Mayu is, oh my God. That's pretty funny. These two girls, they're voice actresses. Holy shit. The voices they're doing is just like this really airy falsetto, and they're both doing it exactly the same way. Hearing them exchange is crazy. It
Mayu
sounds like I'm
and
being
Nana.
gaslit.
Mayu and
Yeah.
Nana had amazing voices. I love, they were the best voices of the entire show. They were fantastic.
They sound identical to me.
It's just,
It was
it's
personal
just
opinion.
you have to do it a little higher, and then hey, how's it going on, little girl? I don't know how the money works.
But
Oh, but you have to put more air into your voice, so it's actually more like this. It's just the same tone, every line. What drove me insane? It was crazy.
He asked for 500 yen. I don't have that.
Yeah, no, she doesn't have that. I like the scene where she teaches her about money. That's a good.
That was genuinely clever.
Because they're both dumb, but they're dumb in different ways. Nana doesn't know how money works, and Mayu's just a wimp, and it's and just watching these two totally useless little girls try to interact was very funny. And this show is what really this episode was what really put me over the edge, because this is where they do so many way too loud jump scare flashbacks.
They're very
The show does
brief.
a lot of that.
Except for the last two episodes, but they'll have flashbacks that are a shot and juxtaposed really weirdly with what's going on.
And it's actually way louder than the rest of the show, like an octave louder, and it's a loud noise, very sudden. And I did not appreciate it. I know you liked that scene in Spider-Man 2002, but you gotta stop. You can't just do it. It's 2004 now. You can't just be doing it.
I mean, everybody loves every scene in Spider-Man 2002.
Ooh. But yeah, that Mayu teaching Nana about money is the best scene in the show so far. Best part.
I gotta disagree. I still think that if anybody gives you the trouble, I'll fucking kill him for you. That might be like one of the best scenes in any anime. I don't know. It's definitely up there. Channeling.
I think that's
Commando.
accidental, just because the way he read the line.
I can live with that.
Okay.
It's in the version that I watched. So.
And then they bring Nana back, and she loses it when she sees Lucy, because she's supposed to be able to sense Lucy, because she was supposed to kill her before, but she's not sensing her because Lucy's in Dumbo mode, but she recognizes her and goes, "Oh my God!" So then that episode ends with them about to face off. Episode 11, we get another slap. Nana gets slapped for being mean to Lucy. And then we see Vaccine Man's dopey assistant meets with the head honcho, and she gets shot because she knows something, and she needs to tell him. And he lets her live because she needs to find out who Kota is, because he knows too much.
I know her as Krusty Panty Girl because at one point she's like locked up in a bunker and isn't allowed to go out or anything. Yep. And she's like, I haven't been able to shower for months or for a month, and it's about that time. Yes, Krusty Panty Girl.
Yep, just want to sniff that butt. I could see the posts already.
Did you read my review?
Yeah. Oh, I want to
Where
drape assistant scientist lady's 3-month-old panties over my face and inhale deeply.
Did you then find my Google search history or like where to buy crusty panties online?
It's
and
too
did you
easy.
also follow my Silk Road history as I proceeded to do so? They're in the mail.
If I could follow people's Silk Road history, I would never leave the house, my man. So, what's going on? Nana tries to convince Mayu that Lucy is bad. Nana goes back to serious form. Or Lucy does. And this is the part where I lament, why couldn't it have just been telekinesis? Why? It turns out the head honcho also had some kind of humanity-ending instrumentality plan. Because it's a post-Ava world.
It's an anime.
It's got to be instrumentality. Flashback to Nana at the orphanage, but maybe it's Lucy. I was never able to figure this out.
That's Lucy, cuz.
Okay, but they've changed her voice, so they make her voice into Nana's voice, so it's very confusing. She sounds just like Nana. What?
That's Lucy because she meets up with Coda later.
Yeah, but they make her voice into the exact same as Nana, so it's very confusing. But yeah, we get like an episode and a half of flashback here where she's at this orphanage, she gets bullied, and by the way, this is an ADV dub, so everybody from Ghost Stories is in here. So, she finds a dog, and this is what I realized. Like, okay, this dog's gonna fucking bite it. And the bullies are all like, yeah, dude, I'm 12 and I fucking love killing dogs. Hell yeah,
Murder!
Bro. Murder! Kid Kota, episode 9 now. Kid Kota meets Kid Nana, who sounds a lot like Lucy again for some reason. Or wait, no.
No,
she's still Lucy. Still Kid Lucy. Notes are incorrect.
Kid hair,
Retcons.
pink hair and horns on multiple characters. Genius.
Same voice. Who could have guessed?
Recipe for success.
She lives in the apartment of some people she murdered, and young Kota, young Lucy hang out. But she just keeps murking fools. Goddamn. And then they go to a zoo. Another fun scene because she's freaking out about all the animals.
It's a little bit. There's a dissonance between this and the rest of the show.
Well, obviously,
this is like over the top whimsical, but not in like. It's not. Slowly, she kind of comes around. She's just immediately like, it's a giraffe. How did his neck get so long?
Wow. She's just a kid. But she had then immediately she has an existential crisis about whether or not it's okay to kill lots and lots of people, and then they play in a river.
Then they get naked.
And then I don't know why we needed 2 episodes of flashback just to establish that. But I was wondering how they would stretch this show out because it did seem like we were kind of reaching a climax. So then we had to have 2 episodes of flashback. So then Lucy gets jealous of his cousin, Yuka, and then she kills a bunch of people at a festival, and just a lot of decapitate. This is decapitating people mid-sentence. The anime. Unofficial title.
Also slapping girls and being sick.
Yeah, but mostly decapitating people mid-sentence. And at this point, I realized that, this was Lucy the whole time. Okay. All right, sure. Episode 10. Nana, Mayu, and Lucy have a standoff until Lucy transforms back, and then they eat together. And then we get a flashback to Lucy still killing. Or I guess it's Nana, or it's the third one. I don't know. There was a bunch of them. I literally still don't know. I have a clip.
It's nice to have David with me as a bouncing board, just so I can be like, hey, is this his character? And like we just figure it out. And
I don't know what that one is.
Please, not again.
Do it.
This is the scene where they're launching ball bearings at this girl.
Yeah.
Which is probably not the most effective form of
Eh.
this. Is a little bit out there. They had to come to some pretty severe conclusions to determine that this is what they wanted to do. Like, it's a pretty arbitrary metric that they're judging how strong these girls are by. I don't know.
Well, as we all know, scientists are way
Horrible
too
torturers.
brutal and ruthless, and yeah, they'll stop at nothing to get to the truth, no matter how much pain they cause.
I trust them almost as much as I trust cops.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, scientists stop at nothing. It's very easy
Enough
for
about the
them to
boys in
just
blue. It's about the boys in white.
You know
The
what
ones
I'm
you gotta
saying?
fucking watch out for.
Preach.
They'll take
But
your nuts.
the reason I play that clip is because when he says "do it," it's just completely deadpan. It's very good.
Do it.
Oh, and this is another flashback episode. Great Adventures of Young Chief. He almost gets bapped, and he's doing baps. He's bapping, and Chief's little daughter has horns. Oh, okay. So yeah, he's killing the Diclonius. A bunch of people in the office are having Diclonius kids or something. I don't know. And he's killing all of them. And then his daughter has horns. She's Diclonius. Couldn't have possibly seen that coming.
What? What is this?
And then he finds out his daughter is a Diclonius, and then we get a flashback to the scene before where he's talking about how you have to kill all the Diclonius because we couldn't have figured that out, this quandary. So then he's about to I Am Legend his daughter, but then his wife dies of being a dumbass because she's walking around when she's bleeding all over the place. And then I guess he doesn't I Am Legend his daughter because Nana is his daughter, or it's not actually Nana. 35 is his daughter, who we'll get to, but one of them's his daughter. Who fucking cares? And at the end of this episode, they introduce number 35, who's got hella vectors. So here's your next villain of the week. She's got 35 of them, and they reach out real far. There you go.
Whoa, how are we going to stop this force?
I still don't know.
It eludes us.
Number 35 has a scientist mom, and in the last episode, they said that Diclonius immediately kill their parents all the time, but now this one has a mom, and she's the only one that she'll listen to, and they apparently would never separate them. So much for that. 35 has a bomb in her.
Now this has gotten to the point where Evangelion is stealing from Elfen Lied, so it's kind of a snake eating its own tail type thing.
They're both, speaking of snake, they're both stealing from Ground Zeroes. So there you go.
That's crazy.
Fucking crazy. Future stealing.
God damn.
This one is flat. That's how you can tell her apart. Because they're always naked, pretty much. But this one's flat. So she steps out of her chamber. And then she explodes her mom. But then the top half of the mom detonates the bomb. But the bomb only blows up her arm or something.
Do that again, we're going to hurt you even worse.
Yeah, better listen.
We're super
and
serious.
Yeah, and they say she can't use her vectors when she's feeling pain. Great. Couldn't get one without that weakness, huh, guys?
That'll be great in combat.
Yeah, let's send her out.
She'll stand a chance.
The chief disappears. Vaccine Man's assistant still looking for Kota's face and finds it, I think. Bando is still on the beach, still chilling like a villain, collecting garbage. The chief offers to fix Bando's arm. Now they're in alliance. He wants Bando to kill 35. Lucy gets upset when Kota mentions his sister. For some reason. Can't figure out that one. Yuka gets jealous because Kota said he cares about Lucy. This doesn't work in English. In Japanese, he said "ski" to her, which can mean love or like cares about. But in the dub, he just says he cares about her, and Yuka gets all bitchy because of it, which doesn't.
Very in character for her, so.
Yeah, I guess she's
Didn't
just
bat
kind
an eye.
of she's just kind of pissy. Nana feels 35 coming, and so then they face off at the end of this episode. Almost there. We're almost there, I swear. We're almost done. Episode 12, Nana gets smushed. And then by 35, Kota shows up. And I want you to picture just think of how amazing it is. We've gone this many episodes. Kota knows nothing.
Yep.
He doesn't know anything's going on. He doesn't think anything's weird. He just thinks he's taking care of a bunch of retarded girls.
This is the exact thought I was having, which is like, he genuinely does not understand anything that's transpired. It's all about
everything that's happened, all of the past histories, all of the decapitations, hundreds of on-screen deaths, torture, murder, some of them with him right there on screen. He doesn't know anything, and he is just as shocked at seeing this combat as you or I would be if we were to see it.
Whoa, these girls have pink hair and horns. That's crazy. Come move in.
That's why Kota is the best character.
Yes.
Yep.
Kota is too pure for this show. He doesn't deserve anything that happens.
True beauty. True
he deserves
pureness.
to live in that house with those girls forever. He seems to be happiest that way.
He'd be happy in pretty much any situation. He could block anything out, apparently.
I feel like he's a dog. Really, Kota's a dog on the inside.
Dog imagery is powerful. A lot of dog imagery.
Yes.
But Nana gets knocked into the water. Lucy shows up, and she slips in blood because everyone has to be covered in blood at all times. And this is the first time that like Kota like gets upset. And I noticed something about his voice actor when he wants to express sadness or distress.
What are you doing? Let me go!
Listen to me, that girl will kill you!
What are you saying? You're crazy!
What are you doing? Get your hands off me.
You're not my mom.
I could have another one. I know my limit.
We need another girl around here.
Ugh.
You'll find me a homeless girl.
Someone find me a retarded girl. I'm running low. Oh.
Fuck, your uncle? Get her the fuck out of here. We got enough
Fucking
feet
weirdo.
as is. Anyways.
Nana somehow disables 35's arms. And then I guess Lucy wasn't the target of 35. I don't know why not. You'd think they would be like both of them because they're both still out there loose. But Lucy's back though. She remembers everything. Chief's assistant gets cut in half. Flashback again to the festival. Kota's little sister Kanae saw Lucy kill all those people, and then 5 minutes later, they're on a train and their dad is casually reading the newspaper as she describes the horrible murders she saw.
She's briefly traumatized.
Yeah, they know there was some incident. They think a bomb went off, and her dad's like, "It's okay, you're safe." And then they're on the train a few minutes later, and she's just like, "A bunch of people got cut in half. I saw them. I saw it happen." And he's just reading the paper, just cash.
They're fucking around, and he doesn't move for a solid 15 seconds. It must be a really
Doesn't
good
care.
article. That's when journalism's real.
Oh man, engaging those crosswords.
Saudi Arabia.
Those funnies. They'll rope you in. Oh,
Also,
this Garfield.
Kathy gets me.
Doonesbury.
That's so
You heard
topical.
this?
George W. Bush is a clown.
Oh, so true. 2004, yeah.
Look at his nose.
Look at the size of his ears. Crazy.
Anyways.
Tiny nose. Then Lucy's voice changes for some reason. That was confusing. But yeah, she's upset because Kota told her that he was going to a festival with his cousin, and she asked if the cousin was a boy or a girl, and he lied and said it was a boy, but it was actually a girl's. So she got very, very upset. And this is the reason for all of this.
Which is ridiculous.
It's very ridiculous. You know, they almost could have made it into like a a tragedy, but I don't think it's competent enough to really.
It could have been an accident. It could have been an actual accident where like she was defending herself and then she killed somebody. You know what I mean? It could have been. There's none of that.
I think there's
no
merit
ambiguity.
in that all of this horrible suffering was caused by the fact that she was just a kid, and kids are, not rational and will do crazy, terrible things for stupid reasons. But I don't think that was what the show was going for.
They're
I think it's just dumb.
experiencing pains for the first time, and they can't deal with it. And then when you give that a child that kind of power, they're going to do rational things. Like
When you give a child crazy ghost arms. Remember reading that children's book When you give a child crazy ghost arms, she'll kill your family. I forget how the rest goes.
It's a classic. It was like that and Magic School Bus for the shit.
Oh, so good. We get more flashbacks to Hanging with Lucy, scenes we've already seen. Except we get new dialogue, I think, this time. You know what I say when I splash someone with water? I say, your face is dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Ha ha.
Yep.
You got water on you. Your face is dirty.
Translation. I mean, I guess it's technically like that's probably there could be some parasites in that water. You don't want to be drinking it.
Leeches.
It's like maybe, haha. If you drank any of that water, you might experience mild intestinal discomfort.
You have a brain-eating amoeba now. Ha ha.
Haha.
Ha ha.
Let's get naked.
Woo. Lucy. Oh yeah. So Lucy kills his family in front of him, and he remembers it now. Again, they just straight deep sixes his folks unceremoniously, which is traumatizing and serious for a serious show. And then Bando shows up and does not mesh with the tone at all because it's a very serious scene. And like, so it's just like he realized, it's like, okay, here's the scene. We get that flashback. We come back and he's like, you killed my family. And then this shitty drum and bass kicks in and Bando jumps into the frame and goes, yeehaw, bitches. Boom, boom. It's fucking incredible. Oh, it's so good, man.
It's like they had to meld two elements that didn't work together at all.
Bando is the shining beacon of quality in this fucking shithole of a show.
It would be like if it was like the first scene in Inglourious Bastards, you know, where the Jew hunter is like being super serious, and then like you've got Vincent Vega from Pulp Fiction walking in, fucking John Travolta, and he's like, "What's going on here? I'm gonna shoot this heroin." It's just two elements that don't mesh together at all.
I still think those tones are closer than like finding out the person you've been sheltering is the one who brutally killed your family in front of you, and then Action Man Randy Savage impersonator jumps in with like dual Uzis or something. I don't know. Fantastic. Finally get to episode 13, the ending. Nana gets back with the chief, her papa, as she calls him, even though his actual daughter is 35, but whatever.
Right there.
35 goes to the hospital now because she's been disabled. Oh, but no, 35's not his daughter. It's actually Lucy that's his daughter. But he mentions this really offhandedly.
Wait, is this wait? I missed this. This
He
totally
says that.
went over my head.
Yeah, no, he totally says Lucy's actually his daughter.
What?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
He totally does. In episode 13, he's talking about he's looking at Lucy when she's there. I'm not making this up.
I don't remember this. I don't remember any of this.
No, because it's one line. He mentions it in one line offhandedly.
I think his actual daughter was 36.
35 wasn't there.
35.
And he's talking about a girl, and she goes, "She's my daughter," and Lucy is like,
Could be a bad translation thing. I don't know.
don't know.
Keep going.
I think it was 35. He committed suicide with 35.
No, he
Yes.
committed suicide with. He did.
Yeah, no, I'm
and that
80%
was
sure.
out of love for his daughter. Like he wouldn't have done that if it wasn't his daughter.
Yeah, because then he explicitly makes reference to her mother loving her so much.
You'd think he'd want his daughter to live. I don't know.
Well, she's a monster, must die.
Then why does he not blow up all of them? Nana's a monster too. But yeah, 35 and Lucy fight. Again, these fights would be so much better without the dumb arms. They look terrible. Like we could guess what's happening without the terrible CG arms.
At all. Like especially when they're fighting the other monsters, they just punch them instead of ripping their arms apart. They literally just start punching them.
Instead of doing exactly whatever they've done to every other character in the show, which is just basically slice them in fucking half.
Yes, instantly.
Yep.
I don't know. So Lucy appears dead. Okay, yes. Then Chief says, okay, no, 35 is his daughter. 35 whines a bunch, And she says, "Daddy, no," because she's going to shoot her. But then Chief gets himself blowed up with the bomb. Again, not sure why he did that. And then I guess that turns out to have been the climax of the show with these side characters, because that's kind of it. Scientist lady talks to the head honcho, and he has horns too and laughs like a crazy man, and then that scene ends immediately, which is very funny. Kota is upset again, so his voice actor acts wasted once more. He decides that he loves Lucy, doesn't want her to leave, even though she killed everyone that he loves. And you get another flashback to them hanging out as kids. Again, flashbacks to the exact same scenes.
Yes. They were in the last episode. It's
fucking
brutal.
Amazing.
The show should have really ended right there when they were kissing. And I would have been happy. That
would have been way too fast, but it would really, the earlier this show ends, the better, because it's just, you got to cut your losses at some point. But then, yeah, Lucy gets gunned down by a bunch of gun guys unceremoniously at the very last second, like 2 minutes before the show ends, and then everyone's eating. But then, oh, who's at the door? It's a silhouette.
It's Jesus.
And then the grandfather.
Jesus is here for Christmas.
The grandfather clock works again. Das Ende.
Yes.
German.
Do you remember?
What could that grandfather clock even be symbolism for, by the way?
Yeah, because it was basically something she did for like an episode when she was really dumb.
It's like he gets to the house that he brings up that doesn't work anymore. It hasn't worked for however long. And then when they're cleaning the house together, they're trying to fix it, and it doesn't work. And then in the last episode, it starts to work. I don't know what. It's just like a callback to a thing that didn't matter, really.
It's fucking deep, man.
I guess it's because they were working together to fix it, and then finally all the pieces meshed together, and the gears started turning, and it all worked out in the end, maybe.
But Lucy put the most effort into it.
I guess.
Anyways, that's Elfen.
Anyways, yeah.
There was a lot of explanation for something massively entertaining, but very bad.
Yeah, I didn't have too much trouble finishing it.
I felt compelled to see what was next, just to see what avenues of horror, like horrifyingly bad, that we would go down. It was a new twist and turn, not in the narrative so much as in like, wow, that's just in poor taste, or wow, that's really convenient, or wow, every single character has to have the darkest backstory possible.
This has no subtlety. How little can you have?
Yes. Not only do your characters need to be homeless and abused by everybody around them, they also need to be rape survivors. And
sometimes get decapitated.
Yes. It's basically race for the bottom in terms of how over the top can we make these backstories. Who can suffer the most in the past? I think
shoot your cat,
Kota
shoot your dog.
Gets off easy because he doesn't get raped. His parents are just killed in front of him. That's it.
I mean, at least Marty's parents are still alive.
Yeah, half of his parents are still alive, and
he
doesn't even remember.
No, his parents are both dead, right?
Is his mom dead?
Did they mention his mom? Shit, I forget.
I'm going to assume she's probably kicking somewhere.
What? Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
You'd think they would at least make mention of her. Did they mention that she died at some point before?
No.
I don't know. Weird.
Anyways, what do you think, Declan?
I mean, I think the show is just sort of regular bad, just sort of bad. Again, I've seen Brynhilde, so I was prepared spiritually for this. I was not super surprised. I was actually surprised at again how much like Brynhilde it is. I mean, he reuses just about everything. So it's like a 4 out of 10. And as for the its immense popularity, I mean, again, I understand why the youngins they like it, but it's just weird that this one stands out above all the others, and I guess the reason for that is because there must have just been not much, or there's just not a lot of gore porn, pretentious gore. It's a callback to the gore exploitation anime of the 90s.
But without any of the animation quality. So, like, it's not... People say this is, like, one of the most gory shows ever. And there's definitely a lot of, like, limbs getting ripped off and shit. But it doesn't have the literal gore of something like Angel Cop. Or, like...
Angel Cop has the one shot. I mean,
Or like, just, like, it doesn't have that 80s OVA or 90s OVA, like...
No,
gore.
certainly not.
There's no sinew. It's just straight cut. It's like a fucking butcher shop, Like, limbs are just hung up.
No.
It's very clinical with its gore.
Yeah, and people must remember this show, like, very fondly. I can't imagine they would stick to their guns if they went back to it. I mean, this show, like, I know Mal isn't a good website, but you can gauge the quality of a show based on their ratings if you take it as like a 6 to 9 scale.
If you use the IGN scale.
With 6 being abysmal and 8 being very good and 9 being meme. And this show has a 7.8 on Mal, which is let me read off some other things that are a 7.8 on Mal. How about that? How about we do that? What else is a 7.8? Flip Flappers and New Game and
God.
Panty and Stocking. Ganshiken is a 7.75.
Oh my God.
Mind Game is a 7.86.
It's like literally fucking impossible to get that take. How dare anybody to watch Mind Game and then watch this and possibly think that they're even on the same spectrum? They're fucking... Oh my God. What are even negative reviews of Mind Game like? Like, what the fuck? Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt anyone's written... I think probably just say it's boring. It's a little slow.
It's slow. It in the... Wait, are you talking about Mind Game?
Yeah.
Oh, what the... That shit's at an 11 all the time, except for when they're in the fish for half the movie.
That's like 2/3 of the movie, my man.
Yeah.
Easily. Probably even more.
That's when it gets good.
But, I should just read some reviews of Elfen Lied. But while I'm searching for those, I want to hear you guys. I want to hear what you have to say.
I think my opinion has been stated.
Yeah.
It's gratuitous. You seem to have a lock on why people like this show. I feel like there are still new people seeing this and enjoying it when we've got one in the room with us. So I genuinely want to hear your opinion here. What do you got for me, David? What's your make your case to God here?
I enjoyed the show. I think it was a great show. I think it was a fine show.
Let's go on.
There were many moments where there were many elements of the show that weren't that great. Of course, so we've talked about the entire episode. Of course, like there's a bunch of parts that just weren't made well, wasn't produced well, the writing wasn't great, whatever. But there were multiple aspects of the show that were good, that we haven't really covered.
Yeah, oh yes, please.
I think a lot of it had to do with the relationships between the characters. I think it delved a little more into the psychological play than we talked about, really. You saw a lot of mental illness in the show, a lot of different ways people reacted to things. It may have been superficial and made up, but it still represented a real idea, which was quite interesting to me, at least.
What do you think is the most interesting relationship in this show?
Well, I think there were multiple interesting relationships. I think I don't know. as just a fan, I really liked New and Coda. Just
I agree, but probably for a different reason.
I want to be Coda, but you know.
I mean, he's the character I've related to the most in anime for a split second.
Yes.
Sure, but
Me IRL.
yes, literally me. Well, what are aspects that you didn't like?
Me or him?
most of the stuff that you guys are talking about that I didn't like. I mean, we agreed upon the majority of the things, but there were parts that we didn't dive into that made the show good.
Okay, so like what?
Pretty much exactly what I said. I mean, I really enjoyed the relationships in the show, and I think a lot of it might have been fan service, and I think a lot of it might have been just to cater to the audience, but it was quite entertaining.
Are you talking about the relationships more like backstory, or the relationships like their interactions with each other and their dialogue?
Interactions with each other.
Okay.
And I mean, Koda's entire trauma incident, it was quite difficult to understand why he couldn't remember anything in the entire show.
I think I know why.
And it turns out his entire family was killed.
I think it's for plot convenience. Because otherwise the show wouldn't work, because he would just say, hey, leave, because I remember you.
Hey,
You can't be being here.
You've done to me.
You gotta not do this.
Well, that's certainly an interesting take.
That's some you're on some next level shit, David. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I think it's a great show. I'd rate it a 7.8.
What do you think the audience sees in this show?
Sorry?
You said you went and read some positive reviews.
No.
What do you think the audience sees in this show? Like, what do you think a 14-year-old girl sees in this show in which women are repeatedly ripped limb from limb and slapped?
Well, I read some negative reviews as well. I think a 14-year-old, maybe that's not the audience for the show. Honestly, I think there are a lot of moments that are just way too grotesque for a younger person to be able to handle. And as well as that, the actual psychological elements that I was talking about, the people wouldn't be able to pick up at such a young age. They wouldn't be able to understand.
I think that's the entire appeal to a 14-year-old is watching this and thinking, it's like, oh my god, I've never seen any. I've literally only ever gone to see Nicholas Sparks movies.
I wish I was Maya and I got raped by my dad. Like, what are you talking about?
What?
Are you David? Are you implying that 14-year-olds don't like violent, bloody,
I'm sure
sexual
they do,
things?
but this was very emotionally violent as well.
This is definitely probably unlike anything they have seen before. If this is like a first 5 anime they've ever seen, they've seen Fullmetal Alchemist, they've seen Naruto, and now they're seeing this.
Yeah, no,
I think the takeaway is that if you've never seen an anime before and you've only consumed Western media, this is probably pretty outside the things you're used to. This is definitely going to be a new experience to see such horrific things occur on a screen, and there's definitely a novelty to that.
Over the years, like, I've heard so many references to this show, and the things that always come up is, you know, saw it as an early teenager, and people bring up that it was the first, like, serious, not for kids anime they watched, and they were flabbergasted that anime could be mature and for adults and violent and R-rated.
It's like the Ninja Scroll effect, where it's like you've been watching Sailor Moon, and then your friend slips you the Ninja Scroll VHS, and you flip that shit on, and then you see girls with their titties out, and you're like, oh my god.
Oh my
and then
god.
you see a dude get his head off, and you're like, oh my god, I love anime. Because it gets your pee-pee a little bit hard.
That's how they hooked you.
Yeah.
David, can you just, I want you to reach deep inside, and I want you to pull out a deep psychological theme or element from this show specifically that we can grasp and hold up high as a triumph of Elfen lead. Please.
Well,
I think so far you've been esoteric
I understand that this.
I think
that
that's
this
the way the show comes off, though. I think it's very hard to actually go deep inside and pull out one of the details. But I'll try.
Okay, yeah.
I'll try.
I respect your attempt.
I feel many of the relationships. This is so difficult. Oh, you guys are right. Oh my god. No. There were multiple relationships in the show that were quite interesting.
But what? I need a concrete example. Can you give me an interaction? I want this for you. I want you to get this. I know
if I was watching the show and we were narrating the show and talking about the show while we were watching, I could easily tell you the specific moments.
Now
as a summary, it's very difficult to tell because there's very subtle overtones the entire show.
We've done this though. We did sit and comment the entire thing.
Yeah.
But you never once brought these. It's almost like you've kind of created this out of in the past 24 hours. You seem to have turned a corner on Elfen Lied, which
David, I think you may have, as a defense mechanism to terrible to garbage, you have sort of formed like a defensive, like a clam forming a beautiful pearl around a grain of sand.
I think
you formed this feeling, this gut feeling of some kind of undertones around this schlock.
I think you might have projected,
to protect yourself from psychological damage.
I think you've projected the trauma that you've experienced with the show onto the show, and that your personal experience of abuse with the show has imprinted that impression upon you. Like, you think that the show has this because you experienced the Stockholm Syndrome for it, because you were subjected to 13 episodes of it. Or you're right.
It's difficult for me right now to tell you exactly what happens. I'm able to come up with something, but I will write an essay about this show.
I'll put it in the show.
2 to 5 page essay explaining all the psychological undertones, and then send it to you for you guys to put it on.
I'll
Put it in the
post
show
it.
notes. We'll put it in the show notes for the episode.
Okay.
Read the show notes for David's essay on why Elfen Lied has hidden depths.
You need to, because, Pete, you're going to say that Elfen Lied has a bunch of subtle psychological undertones. People are going to think you're fucking crazy.
I'll get my friend Nick to do a dramatic narration of it.
Now would be a good time to mention, by the way, that this podcast isn't real, and we don't exist, and that you're just crazy.
It's a projection. It's you've manifest. Actually, Elfen Lied isn't even real. You watched your family get murdered when you were a child, and this is your defense mechanism.
Your memories have now been filtered through a silly cartoon veneer.
Which is what happened to me as well. That happens after about 5 or 6 anime.
At all about why people have acted the way they do. Instead, you've just looked at the way people have acted and immediately made fun of it and said, "Oh, the creators are stupid for making them seem like this."
Okay,
you haven't actually tried to understand why they're acting the way they do.
Well, it's just that the conclusions that are reached seem fake.
I think a lot of it is somewhat dumb.
They don't seem in line with really what's occurred. The explanation for Lucy's split personality is insufficient. And also never really addressed after the initial moment.
The explanation is, I can be your angel or your devil.
I think the original personality split occurred when she was shot in the head by that armor-pierced round sniper.
But what happens to the dopey Lucy at the end of the show? Where does she go? She never comes back.
Had enough.
Maybe that was her behind the gate, man.
She started to realize, and she came back into her own figure.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly. We're gonna have to come back to this.
This show's confounded you.
There's a lot of forgetfulness, which I think has also imparted itself upon you. And there's an instance where Mayu is a little girl. Mayu witnesses a girl get all of her limbs ripped off and just forgets about it. Coda watches.
Well, she thinks it's a dream. She forces it out, I guess. Again, this is all way too convenient and just like not. This is very poor plot writing.
It
all
doesn't
around.
seem natural.
Extremely lazy.
It seems entirely. I want to be at this point, and these characters, they don't. The story isn't told because the characters need to do these things. The characters are molded to fit the story that's being told.
Yeah, it's every soap opera cliche of like, oh, amnesia and coma and unconsciousness
And dad rape.
And what?
Dad rape.
Oh, yes,
Every
that too.
soap opera, yep.
Butthole staring. Remember that 90s band, Butthole Starers?
I'll write my essay and I'll show you guys.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm stoked.
David, that would be the best thing ever, please.
We'll put it up untouched. It'll just be this is
All right,
David's essay.
We'll do a week or two.
Okay.
I got some positive reviews of Elfen Lied here. David, maybe this will get your noggin
It'll
jogging.
jumpstart something.
Yeah. The Llama gives this show 8 out of 10 in March 2008. Here are some. I'll just read you some excerpts. Remember, 8 out of 10. The characters are all okay. They do act really stupid at times. They've all got some backstories. The artwork is extremely good, yet very average.
You've got a lot to live up to, David. Your essay's gonna have to.
It sounds like a really good review. Like I don't know what you're like. This guy seems like an idiot. This person writing a review.
It's just these are the things you have to eclipse. So it's a low bar. To have the greatest positive review of Elfen Lied is quite easy.
I'm not trying to have the greatest positive review. I'm trying to have my own review, which shows exactly what I thought of the show.
I know. I just think that by writing anything, you will probably have the best positive review of Elfen Lied ever written, which should be presented.
As a 7.8?
Definitely.
Whatever.
There needs to be a counterpoint to our overwhelming negativity, and I look forward to reading it.
All right.
The soundtrack is decent, with a marvelous Latin opening theme named Lilium that fits right into the series' overall tone, and an ending theme that, while a bit more cheerful, fits in with the love triangle between the main characters. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit at all. All in all, Elfen Lied is an anime that does a very audacious thing by having so much cruelty, gore, and nudity in one series. But the end result is a masterpiece anime that wouldn't have been good without. Wouldn't have been good without all the little girls getting torn to shreds.
It's crazy that there was never actually a single instance of violence in the history of anime up until 2004 where it happened.
Yeah, very audacious.
That's audacious.
Here's a 10 out of 10.
Okay.
From Ubermensch. I'm going to have to rescind that title, buddy. I'm going to have to check the records on that one. Someone's cooking the books.
Watch out.
Elfen Lied is something else. Just watching the first 10 minutes of the first episode, and one can understand this is not your typical anime. A series modeled in many ways after the tragedies of Shakespeare in ancient Greece.
Whoa!
Elfen Lied is not something that you ought to enjoy a sunny day with. What? The seemingly gratuitous? That's not a word. I guess gratuitous? I don't know if that's how you spell that.
It's like grotesque and gratuitous had a baby.
Yeah, no, it's not gratuitous. It's not, yeah. Nudity may put some people off of this series, but I have to say that the story would not have the same impact without it. Story 10. Elfen Lied boasts some of the most intense and intriguing plot lines I have ever experienced in anime. It must be known that the central themes to Elfen Lied are hate, anger, and inhumanity. Intriguing. Every darkness of the human soul is represented in this 13 episode series. They're all represented. They're all there. The sex ones, the violent ones. Yeah.
Except for gluttony. Everybody forgets about gluttony.
I guess, yeah, no, they eat a lot. I don't know. Animation 8. Not much to say here. Speaks for itself, motherfucker. The animation is very good, but nothing really stands out. I do really like the opening that shows a style adapted from the famous Austrian painter Gustav Klimt. 8 out of 10. Not much to say.
I think we gotta wrap this thing up.
Sound 10. Character 9.
Character 9.
Character 9.
Elfen Lied has the story.
Elfen Lied has the best in-depth characters I've seen since Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Wow.
The characters are real, with both light and darkness in their souls.
I think that's a
Enjoyment 10.
I think that's a good one to leave it on. Anticipate hot take from David.
I'll let you know my review.
It's pending. David's opinions on Elfen Lied are pending. I would say watch it. It's a good time.
Definitely watch it.
Or if you want a newer version from like 2014, just watch Brynhilder. You know, it looks better. It's Blu-ray, I guess.
I like that this looks like DeviantArt. So I'm in.
I think DeviantArt looks like this. It was an old show.
I'm gonna give this one a definite must watch. Give it if you've like watched too much good stuff and you're just like, you know, I need to go back to my roots.
This is an important show.
Yes.
This is a this is a must watch, not just for posterity.
Yes. It's a you have to do it. It's like watching Ben-Hur. You got to do it, you know.
We had to do it. We had to do it to him.
I had to do it. Cut.
All right, yeah, sure. Fuck it.